Luke 7, verses 36 to 50. A sinful woman anoints Jesus' feet. One of the Pharisees asked Jesus to have dinner with him. So Jesus went to his home and sat down to eat. When a certain immoral woman from that city heard he was eating there, she brought a beautiful alabaster jar filled with expensive perfume. Then she knelt behind him at his feet, weeping. Her tears fell on his feet, and she wiped them off with her hair. Then she kept kissing his feet and putting perfume on them. When the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would know what kind of woman is touching him. She's a sinner." Then Jesus answered his thoughts. "Simon," he said to the Pharisee, "I have something to say to you." "Go ahead, teacher," Simon replied. Then Jesus told him this story. A man loaned money to two people, 500 pieces of silver to one and 50 pieces to the other. But neither of them could repay him, so he kindly forgave them both, canceling their debts. Who do you suppose loved him more after that? Simon answered, "I suppose the one for whom he canceled the larger debt." "That's right," Jesus said. Then he turned to the woman and said to Simon, "Look at this woman kneeling here. When I entered your home, you didn't offer me water to wash the dust from my feet, but she has washed them with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You don't greet me with a kiss, but from the time I first came in, she has not stopped kissing my feet. You neglected the courtesy of olive oil to anoint my head, but she has anointed my feet with rare perfume. I tell you, her sins, and they are many, have been forgiven. So she has shown me much love, but a person who is forgiven little shows only little love." Then Jesus said to the woman, "Your sins are forgiven." The men at the table said amongst themselves, "Who is this man that he goes around forgiving sins?" And Jesus said to the woman, "Your faith has saved you. Go in peace." Welcome to Building Bridges Ministry. My name is Joe. We are picking up this thought of preparing for joy. I know on my last video, I said I was going to start in Matthew in the Beatitudes, but like most of these things, God had other plans. I was going through Luke with my friend at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we got to this story, and we were all done, and I got talking about the video, and I'm like, "Oh, what would you recommend in Luke that would be a good one for preparing for joy?" And he goes, "Well, the story we just did." And I'm like, "You know what? Yes it is." So the story of this lady, it's a multitude of lessons here. The one I'm going to focus mostly on is the forgiveness. The forgiveness of the sins of this lady. To look past, well, not really look past, but to be able to acknowledge that this woman had stepped into a life of sin and either didn't see a way out of sin or whatever. She stayed in that life, and she got a reputation around the community, and she gets shunned and looked down upon, and we do that to others, ourselves. Others look at us at our previous life, and it's hard to find joy, right? Because you're stuck in that life frame. of being the outcast, being the sinner, being the non-community type person that should be there. But luckily, we have Jesus here. And Jesus shows the Pharisee that, you got to look at people in a different light. You got to look at their backstory. What is their story? How have they gotten there? And not everybody truly chooses to be a sinful person. We step into it by accident, by being in the wrong crowds, a multitude of ways. But thankfully, there is forgiveness. And as a Christ follower, if we learn that process of forgiveness and being able to step into it and to allow ourselves to forgive somebody who has hurt us, whatever the way it is, forgiveness is forgiveness. It doesn't matter what the sin is or what the hurt is. Because if we hold on to that, we hold on to that weight. It's in our backpack holding us down and holding us back, not allowing us to run the race that we are designed to run, right? We don't get to have that joy that we're trying to shoot for. So, in our preparing for joy, we need to follow Jesus' lead here and learn the process of forgiveness to others, to accept forgiveness from others that have hurt or harmed us, and whatever reason they come to us and they ask for forgiveness. We should just forgive them. Don't let it hang over their head, and hopefully they don't hold what you've done over your head. So, that is our lesson for today in the idea of preparing for joy, is to work on our forgiveness. Take a read of this story. There's many in Luke of forgiveness. In the Gospels, there's a lot of forgiveness stories. So let's work on that this week, and we'll catch up next week with our next portion. Thank you, and have a blessed day.